I just want to say, first of all, thank you, Mary Lou. That was an awesome introduction just for me. So the next thing is that I would just want to say, I've worked with Dr. Olson for 20 years now. Dr. Olson, I can't believe it's been 20 years. But I just wanted to say that it's been an honor. And I remember many, many years ago when I had first started, I was still going through a master's program, and I interviewed Dr. Olson for a paper. And one of the things that she said has always stayed with me, and that was, people want to do the right thing. And I've carried that through my career, that nobody doesn't want to do the right thing. Everybody wants to come in and do the right thing. That it was almost like people are inherently good. And I just love that. And I do try to carry that through my professional life. So Dr. Olson, you've been a mentor to me, and as I move on. Something that was written up for today's award was, and give everybody a little bit of background about Dr. Olson, is that she was actually born and raised in Phoenix and graduated from Stanford University College of Medicine. She currently chairs the Department of Psychiatry at Valleywise Health and the District Medical Group, and has held these positions since 2005. Her role includes overseeing adult, child, and adolescent psychiatry residency and psychiatry residency training programs. Dr. Olson serves as a professor at Creighton University School of Medicine and chair of their Department of Psychiatry. She's also served as the executive chair and professor of the psychiatry department at the University of Arizona College of Medicine until 2016, and currently remains as a professor at U of A's psychiatry department. Prior positions of leadership, honors, and awards are too numerous to fully mention, but I'm going to still just name a few. She was Physician of the Year in 2015 at Maricopa Integrated Health System, AKA Valleywise Health. She was the Fellow American Psychiatric Association 2010 to 2017, and currently remains a Distinguished Fellow at the APA. The Arizona Psychiatric Society Special Presidential Commendation in 2006. The Arizona Psychiatric Society Presidential Award for Leadership in 2017. She served on also many boards, the State of Arizona Psychiatric Security Review Board from 2006 to 2016, and she served as their chair from 2007 to 2016. She's on study committees of incompetent, non-restorable, and dangerous defendants for the Arizona legislature from 2016 to present. She's a member of the Fair Justice Subcommittee on Mental Health and the Criminal Justice System through the Arizona Supreme Court. She's also a member on the Committee for Mental Health and Justice System at the Arizona Supreme Court. Dr. Olson's many years of service has been able to reach across our communities and across our state, lending freely. She lends freely her expertise and insight as our state has continued to struggle to improve on public safety while reducing incarceration of individuals living with mental illness and addiction. Her ability to listen and to serve the needs of the most vulnerable with compassion and understanding while collaborating across multi-systems of county and state government has made her one of our nation's top psychiatrists and a great leader in the cause of decriminalizing mental illness. David's Hope is honored to present Dr. Carol Olson with the 2021 Community Member Mental Health and Criminal Justice Collaboration Award. Congratulations, Dr. Olson.
Thank you very much, Sherrie. That's very kind of you, and you do also, Mary Lou, and the rest of David's Hope. I feel self-conscious in accepting this award because I'm aware of so many in the audience today who have dedicated so much of their professional and personal time to improving the way our community handles the needs of individuals with serious psychiatric conditions, especially those who become entangled in the criminal justice system. And I feel like my contributions pale in comparison. In addition, in my position as chair of the psychiatry department at Valleywise Health System, I see a great deal about what happens with those who end up petitioned for court-ordered psychiatric evaluation, which is in many ways the tip of a very large iceberg of all that is going on for these patients and their families in the community. As Valleywise has in recent years expanded its outpatient behavioral health services, I've gotten to understand much better the many ways that the system could work better for these patients. I think pretty much every individual, whether via their personal experience or that of a friend or family member, will be touched by mental health issues at some point in their lives. And with almost 100% uniformity, when that happens to people I work with, they tell me it was terrible, but I thank God I understood who to call. I don't know how our regular patients manage it. And I think it's a failure of our system that for many people to get proper care for their problems, they need to know who to call. And I think that that reflects problems of oversight, accountability, and unnecessary complexity within our behavioral health system. Last week, I was reading the newspaper and noticed a brief article regarding the court appearance of a man who was charged with shooting an Arizona Capitol police officer last year. I hadn't thought much about the case at the time that it occurred, aside from wondering whether it had to do with other anti-government protests which were going on at the time. However, this follow-up article in the Arizona Republic went into more detail about the circumstances of this man shooting at the officer. It turns out that the shooter was a person with serious mental illness who was very delusional at the time. He realized, though, that what he had done was not a good thing, and he immediately told his family members, who notified the police, and he was arrested. Since then, he's been in jail. Based on statements he has made at his hearings so far, as quoted in the newspaper article, he remains very delusional, gives completely illogical replies to most questions asked of him, and is likely to be found not competent to stand trial. If so, he'll ultimately be referred for court-ordered evaluation after several months in jail and multiple hearings. His story is not unique, though thankfully most people living with serious mental illness do not engage in violent behavior, and only a small number of those who do use a firearm. And luckily, the police officer he shot was wearing a bulletproof vest and did not sustain serious physical injuries, though I'm sure that he may have had emotional consequences from being shot at out of the blue, and such consequences can be at least as disabling as physical injuries. So the outcome of this incident is a mentally ill person incarcerated for months or years, a law enforcement officer injured, and a community which feels less safe and which is spending a great deal of resources to adjudicate a person who was in the clutches of irrationality at the time of the crime and is unlikely to improve much after spending months in jail. We actually have many types and levels of mental health treatment available in Arizona, and our civil commitment law is more flexible than in many other states. However, I think we still struggle to effectively help individuals with the most severe mental health conditions, particularly those who also have a severe substance abuse problem. Many times these patients require a longer period of time in a secured treatment setting than is typically offered in our modern healthcare system. And this is especially so if, as a result of their illness, they don't have insight into their condition, or they're very paranoid and fear for their safety if they accept treatment. I think ultimately we need to understand that behavior resulting from these types of severe mental health conditions, which can drastically affect a person's judgment, is not appropriately punished in the criminal justice system, while at the same time recognizing that ill people deserve help and that society deserves to know that a person's dangerous behavior is being addressed, if not by the criminal justice system, then by the mental health treatment system in a fashion that is both humane and effective. To move our system in that direction, which includes a multitude of stakeholders and funding streams and institutional cultures, is a monumental task, but we benefit from the fact that it's obvious to even a casual reader of the newspaper that there's a big problem. I think the advocacy of organizations like David's Hope, which have been unwilling to succumb to the inertia of accepting the way things are, is really the only thing that is going to move the system forward and has moved the system forward. So I just want to say in conclusion that I'm very grateful to the organization and the efforts that it's made to perform the advocacy and forge the links between all these various stakeholders in the system to try to move the system forward. And I appreciate very much the award. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Olson. And Sherrie, I didn't know, do you have anything else to add? I can't imagine you're not. No.
Sorry, I was on mute again. This technology, I'll tell you what, between Zoom and WebEx and team meetings. But I do want to say, Dr. Olson really brings out some really good points about what's happening and also about moving forward and not letting it, things keep us from moving forward. So she had some really great points, and even just like this last example she gave, people don't understand the system, and that education and what David's Hope does to educate people is huge, and doing it statewide is amazing. And Dr. Olson does it statewide, and it's very impressive, the work that she does and what all of you do.
Thank you, Sherrie. And I know, Drew, now we were going to go to a couple of questions. I know we had at least a comment that I think is worthy of reading from one of Dr. Olson's colleagues.
This is from Deb Jorgensen. Dr. Olson, your statements demonstrate exactly why you are a recipient of this award. And then Dr. Marois, as a psychiatrist in private practice and as a past president of Arizona Psychiatric Society, I've been closely mentored by Dr. Olson for the last 24 years. Her skills as a psychiatrist and an advocate for persons with mental illness are exemplary. Congratulations, Dr. Olson. That's cool.
Thank you, Drew. And Dr. Olson, I just also want to mention that I want to let you know how much we appreciate your courage. And I know you wouldn't be where you are if you didn't have a lot of it already, but you continue to show it everywhere you turn. And I know you managed to get yourself in the middle of so many important questions that come up in our state, especially.
I'm not sure that's a compliment.
Well, especially when it comes to legislative work. And I just want to commend you and tell you how grateful I am as a family member and as a mother of a son with mental illness who's been just as involved, that I know you are going to continue to be the voice of reason down at the legislature, and a voice that people listen to and respect. And so thank you for doing that and for being our voice.
Thank you.
And I know Dr. Olson is going to continue to be called upon for important issues as they come up legislatively and in county work. And as was mentioned by Sherrie, her work's really known all around the state. So we thank you for being here with us today. We appreciate the time that you take sharing with community organizations. I know you've shared important presentations with David's Hope in the past, and I know you're continuing to do that with other organizations throughout the state. So thanks for that. And we would just all stand up and applaud if we could.
Thank you.